I'm going to tag them with a newsletter tag that indicates I'm going to send them my monthly newsletter, and maybe in the monthly newsletter, if they take some kind of action, I can then get them back on the right marketing path. Because what you can do now, oh, this stuff is just so cool, I'm sorry, I'm a marketing geek with this stuff. What you can do in your newsletter is you can say at the bottom, remember, we do taxes, we do wealth, we do retirement. If you want more information about our taxes, click here. As soon as they click on that tax thing, I can put them back in here. I can restart my marketing. Or I can start them down a different marketing path.
And it will also do your newsletters too, right?
Yeah, you can do newsletters too.
Will it track whether they're opening meetings?
Yeah, it'll track open emails, it'll track clicks. I don't trust open email numbers because don't ever trust email open rates. They're just not reliable. Just the way the technology works, they're not reliable. That's why it's important to put call to actions in all your emails. Email click rates are reliable. Email open rates aren't, because it's your email client communicating with another server, and maybe your email client doesn't send that information. So that's just a blanket rule with email marketing: is email open rates are not reliable. Don't trust them.
Yeah, you got less than half a second.
What's that?
I was just wondering what the notes is.
Oh, you can just add some notes inside your flowchart. So at this point in time, I've used up most of my time. I want to leave the floor open for questions. Or Patrick, show me this. Yes, Cindy.
Do you guys use the same Infusionsoft account for your multiple businesses?
Because ours are pretty close.
Is this off the record? You can
Yeah. The camera. Leave it alone. The way we do it is I was using something else before Infusionsoft, and she was using MailChimp. And even though right now our businesses are kind of related, they're kind of separate. I do have another business inside my Infusionsoft account, and I keep that kind of completely different marketing path. My advice there is, if they're kind of related, you can get away with it. I would initially do it, but eventually break them back out into separate ones, and Infusionsoft will give you discounts there really well. There are people that have 5 or 6 different business lines. They have 5 or 6 different Infusionsoft accounts. So, sir.
Does it integrate with other CRM systems?
Integrate in what way?
As far as pulling data out and back and forth.
Infusionsoft has a very robust API. It's very easy to get stuff into it if you're a programmer, and it's not too hard to get stuff out of it if you're a programmer. So Infusionsoft programmers stay very well employed. It can talk to other stuff, yes. Its API is very robust. The programming community in Infusionsoft, they have a good set of forms, and the documentation is pretty decent. But one of the really cool things about Infusionsoft, for anyone here, like a programmer, like a programmer mindset, that kind of things right here, one of the things you can do, and this is only going to geek out for your programmers, let me tell you, is you can do something right here. Let's see if I can find it, where it is. There's a little tool right here called HTTP Post, which means you can take some information in your sales process and you can send it someplace else on the internet. You can send it to send out cards. You can send it to GoToWebinar. You can send it to a different CRM system. Or you can send it to a third-party tool that you wrote that's kind of like a broker for all those things. So.
Does it work with if then that? IFTTT?
I don't know, but I bet you out there somebody's probably tried. Someone solved that problem.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, Infusionsoft is not a new tool. It's been around for a while. So it talks to lots of things. You know what? If it doesn't talk to it, you just get a hold of a programmer, writes a little third-party broker program in the middle. IFTTT would talk to that, and that would talk to Infusionsoft.
IFTTT will accept from a form, so you can use HTTP Pros pretty easily to send that information to a form. So
Explain them what IFTTT is, if people know what that is.
It's just a system online. It means if this, then that. So it goes out there, and there's various softwares, web tools you can use it with, and if something happens over here, then it does something over here.
It creates connections between other services that may not already have the API set up.
It's the laziest way to be a programmer in the world, let me tell you. You got a question?
Yes. How do you record an action during the sequence so that it stops doing the sequence? Like, say you wanted them to give you a call,
right?
And they gave you a call, and then you don't want them to keep receiving the same email that says, "Hey, give me a call."
Right, if somebody actually picks up the phone in the middle of a marketing sequence, you need to pull up their record on the phone and stop it yourself.
Okay, just manually
Yeah,
stop it.
yeah. There were some. You can't totally remove the human from the equation. If somebody picks up the phone and they're in the middle of the first email and the second email, and you want to stop the second email going forward, they're like, yeah, I'd love to help you. And you pull up their Infusionsoft record, because this is also meant to be used like a day-to-day CRM. Also, like a Salesforce or Contactually or all those other CRMs.
That was my second question about that. So how does that? So do people only use one? Like, say, if somebody's using Salesforce, do they also use Infusionsoft to do mostly marketing versus their sales collecting information and getting back to people?
I know people that use all kinds of combinations. Over the past year, for example, I was using one called Contactually, which I really liked, and Infusionsoft. I'm really trying to get everything into Infusionsoft. And the reason that you would use another third-party CRM is because it does other things. It interfaces to other things. Salesforce has been around since the earth was created, and it does amazing things. And it costs an amazing price for those amazing things. But it can do stuff like go import a list of government contracts automatically and have you filter through government contracts to the ones you want to bid on and put them in your pipeline. Does Infusionsoft do that? No, it doesn't. So there are plenty of companies that use other CRMs. There really are.
Depends on what you need.
Exactly. But what I have also learned by going to a couple of different Infusionsoft conferences is that if you design really good business processes, you can make this tool do just about anything. Because right here, we designed a very basic flowchart. Email, wait, email, wait, email, wait. But I could throw some other things in here. I could throw in calendar appointments. I could throw in to-dos. I can make it so if somebody indicates interest, a to-do gets put on my list. I need to call that person as soon as possible. The next day, 8 o'clock in the morning. It can do all kinds of different things down here in the processes. We can apply tags, we can apply notes, we can create a task, we can assign a new owner. Right here, based on the filtering, if she has 3 different people, one person does wealth, one person does taxes, one person does retirement, she can change who owns that record depending on some action in the CRM. Because maybe all she handles is the accounting side and the other 2 have to go someplace else. The other 3 have to go someplace else. They can create an opportunity. For those of you that have worked in CRMs before, you attach opportunities to companies and to people. An opportunity is, a consulting opportunity or a sales for a product opportunity or possibly a house they want to sell. I mentioned Customer Hub. There's obviously talks to Customer Hub right here, their own membership system. And Infusionsoft can even do really cool stuff like talk to a company like Disc.com. Disc makes real-world products, books, DVDs, things like that. You can make it so somebody in the process of buying something, the information gets sent over to like Disc.com, and Disc.com will ship them a product. And I can't think of a cooler business model of one where you're automatically gathering leads, you're automatically warming them up, you're automatically convincing them to buy something, they buy it, you get the money automatically, and they automatically get the thing that they bought. And you have you're in the frickin' Bahamas. You don't care, you're on a cruise ship. That's my goal right now, is to be on a cruise ship and get a credit card receipt in my email. It's like a life goal in the middle of the ocean. It'll happen. It's not hard. It happens every now and then. I'm just usually at Starbucks when it happens. Yes?
I presume there's good analytics and query tools.
They're decent. I'm not going to say they're great. They're decent. There's at least one company I know that writes, and you'd have to get a hold of me, I'd find them, that writes strictly a reporting solution for Infusionsoft. Out of all the areas, that would probably be one of its weaker areas. I hear that one a lot. It's never been a challenge for me, but there's plenty of reports in there. And the reports, you can turn them into PDFs or dump them out into CSVs. If you're the kind of person who's better in Excel, dump that stuff to like an XLS or a CSV and go jack it up over there in Excel. You brought that up, and this is accidental, but there are plenty of companies that write add-ons for it, that do consulting for it, that does consulting for it. It's just a really great tool. And like I said, there are other marketing automation tools. I want to emphasize that. I want to make sure you knew this was not a pitch fest for Infusionsoft. I did call them, I did tell them I was going to do this, I did ask for some freebies for you guys, which you get an email if you sign up for that form, but there are other marketing automation tools out there that do very similar things. It just so happened, this is the one I bought, this is the one that's really popular, and I'm centering my business around. Yes?
So just to be clear, like if somebody starts going through that and then you run into them at Starbucks, you can just go into their contact You could probably like tag them or something like that to indicate that they've done something. So you
Yep.
can kind of like force those changes by tagging or doing
Yeah.
whatever trigger that is.
Yeah,
that you've set.
we brought up something else. It was something having to do with back. I can't remember the exact situation, but I said they get on my newsletter list, right? And it's 6 months down the line, and they're interested in all that tax information I was trying to send them 6 months ago, right? So I need to get them back into this marketing sequence right here. What I can do, remember this marketing sequence was all triggered by them filling out a form right here. But let's say I get them on my newsletter list, I take off their tax indicator that they're interested in taxes, but 6 months later they click on the newsletter and say, I'm interested in taxes. So what do? I put that tax tag back on there, right? And I want to restart them in the tax marketing. This is a very simple example. So let's say I want this to be triggered by a form, or let's say I want this to be triggered by, come on, me setting a tag. Okay? So they've indicated an interest by someplace else in Infusionsoft, me tagging them for some reason because they're over my newsletter, right? They've gone through my tax sequence once, they weren't interested in them, they weren't interested, I took the tax tag off of them, I put them on my newsletter list, but now they want to get back on the tax list now because 6 months later they realize just how good Aaron was, and they want to get back in that flow chart.
Or it's January.
Or it's January. For me,
Or
it's more like it's
April.
March. For me, it's more like it's March. What I can do now is I can say, there's another way to get into this workflow. I went and said they've indicated an interest right here of tax savings again, which is what they indicated when they came in that form in the first place, and that's another way to get in this workflow. But how else could they get in here? They could get in here if you ran into line them at Starbucks and you pull up their record on your phone and they ask me about taxes in line at Starbucks. It's like, I'll send you some information. Boop, 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 boop. You tag them from your phone, all of a sudden, before they get back from their double macchiato to home, they've got that first email, and they're back in the marketing sequence for taxes again. Infusionsoft has 2 apps. They have one official app, which they make, and they have another one called Snap, which I think is made by a third party. The Snap one is really cool. The regular Infusionsoft one allows you basic record modification. What Snap does is Snap allows you to take a picture of a business card. It sends it off to someplace, I'm going to assume a third world country. Somebody looks at the business card, types in all the information, sends it back to you. You look at it, you say, it's text now from an image, it's text. Yes, that's good. Yes, I want to put that in Infusionsoft, and yes, tag it this way. So now what you can do, what I'm doing, I'm leaving for a conference at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's not a story, I'm really leaving for a conference at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm going to be gathering a lot of business cards out in San Diego. I can sit there with a Snap app now and start taking pictures of business cards while I'm at the conference, while I'm at the bar at 11 o'clock at night, socializing and reading books. That's all I do at a bar. And putting people in marketing sequences. So basically what I can do is tonight when I go home, I can set up a marketing sequence for that conference, and the first email is going to be, hey, it was great to meet you at the conference, and as I'm at the conference, taking pictures with their business cards from that Snap app, and I'm marketing them. I have their information in my CRM before the breakout session is ever over. So there are 2 mobile apps for Infusionsoft, yes. So you can do that while Starbucks.
That's pretty powerful. How many people here have a business card from people in a drawer? Never.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah. And by the way, blatant plug, I have a stack of business cards up here. Please take them. Business cards that stay in a box are wasted business cards. So grab a couple of business cards. Grab 10 of them. I don't care. I don't want to take them home. I want you to give them out to people. Any last minute questions? We are going on an hour and probably 10, 15 minutes. Yes?
The original form that they filled out, does that have to be on one location, or can it be like on Facebook and your website and
It can be wherever you want to put it.
you can put it in multiple places?
Yeah, you can put it in multiple places. If you're a programmer, you can tweak that form a little bit and add some more information to it. You can make certain things required. Someone came to me the other day and they wanted that form to, like, where they had to give somebody like a code before that person could submit that form, like a 4-digit code. And all you had to do is be a web programmer, manipulate that form so that 4-digit code is required before that form is submitted. So yeah, you can put it on. You can embed that like on a Facebook tab, or you used to be able to. Facebook is changing hourly. You can put it on your website. You can put it on her website. It's wherever you want to put it. There are other third-party tools where you can basically make it feed that information to those forms. I use a tool called Lead Pages. That form that you guys wrote up right here, this right here, I wrote this. This is in a tool called Lead Pages right here. Lead Pages makes very easy, very brilliant landing pages right here. Okay? This right here, and by the way, the reason I use Lead Pages is because I suck as a graphic designer. No, I don't just suck, I suck as a graphic designer, let me tell you. I made this in about 5 minutes this afternoon. That's how easy this was. Change the time, put my name up there in lights.
So what's WordPress?
Yes, this is actually in WordPress, believe it or not. This is a landing page inside my WordPress site. Back when I designed this, I basically connected this to my Infusionsoft system. I said, use this sequence in Infusionsoft and use this form in this sequence. So really what this is doing is this is going over here and filling out this ugly form. So you never have to see this ugly form because remember, Patrick can't draw worth ding dong. So I use Lead Pages to do a lot of my landing pages right here. When you click on this right here, get the book, it pops up this pop-up, and the sequence I have you guys going in only asks for email and first name. Okay? It's not long and complicated like the one we just designed. But as soon as you fill this out right here, that email address is often running in a different Infusionsoft sequence. And again, this was done with a tool called Lead Pages. And Lead Pages is really good if you're a horrible graphic designer like me, but a lot of times you want to get something out the door quick. Lead Pages, all one word, just like it sounds, Leadpages. It's like 20 or 30 bucks a month for Lead Pages. But again, I can crank out, because I'm doing a lot of Infusionsoft sequencing, it's very easy for me to crank out a landing page, connect to an Infusionsoft page, and I look great. I've had comments on my landing page like this, Patrick, that's a really good design. You're really good graphically. No. Number one, I'm married to a graphic designer, and number two, I use Lead Pages. That's how my pages look good. I really cannot draw anything to save my life. Yes?
At the beginning you said there would be 4 tips.
Oh, yes, there were 4 tips. I was waiting for no more questions. So she's going to shut us down, okay? My 4th tip is do not be afraid to invest in your marketing. This is, again, comes from my own stupid screw-ups over 17 years. I was afraid, and I have been afraid for the longest time, to take $1 and put that over in buying something like Infusionsoft. Because you know what? I can spend $3 at Starbucks and I can get much more value out of that than I can over worth $1 in marketing, right? And the reason I say this is because if you connect with me on email, I'll tell you the price of this and everything. It's not horrendous. But when you look at the price, when you're an entrepreneur and you're a small business and you look at the price of things, you get a little bit of sticker shock and you get afraid. Remember how I said though in the beginning, as a CEO, your first job and your primary job is to market and sell things? Using tools like Infusionsoft and like Lead Pages helps you with that, and don't be afraid to invest in those. If you want to be a business that lasts more than 12 months, whatever the mean time is that a business lasts, please take time to invest in your marketing. So, the 4 mistakes I made, again, just for a quick recap, were your primary job is to market and sell things as CEO of your company, give everything to everybody else. Premium products, premium prices, don't be cheap, don't ever be the cheapest person in the world. Come up with repeatable, definable business processes, which you can use a tool like Infusionsoft or many other tools on the market to do that. And please, please invest good money in your marketing and your marketing materials. It will come back to you 10, 100, if you're really good, 1,000-fold. So, well, I said that was the last question. Any more last-minute questions? Actually, this is what I'll do. I'll let Ron close it out. I'm going to keep this hooked up. I will not leave this building until every single question's been answered. But let's shut down the formal part of it, okay? And then Patrick will be here because Patrick's good to go as long as I've got that much water right there, okay? Thank you for your time.